Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Janina and Happy New Year to everyone. I hope you had a great start in 2020. Today I would like to talk about my favorite books that I have read in 2019. So these are all books that I truly liked, and I liked the characters and the plot, and they just really stood out to me in like all the books that I've read in 2019. So yeah, without further ado, let's talk about some books that I actually really liked. So the first one was actually like a really surprise read for me because it wasn't on my like I want to read this list at all, and that is The Darkest Part of the Forest by Holly Black, which is a book about a young girl called Hazel, and she lives in a world where fair folk and fairies and everything that involves is actually known. And in the area that she lives in, there's like a coffin, like a glass coffin, and in that glass coffin sleeps a boy and has been sleeping there for years and years and years. And one night, this coffin actually breaks, and the young boy is just like lost. He's like gone from that coffin. Hazel kind of starts to lose time a little bit, and we get to know why that happens and what she does in like the times that she loses time. I was so surprised that I liked it as much as I did, because this was my first like dark fairy book kind of thing. So it was surprisingly great. I like the characters, I love the writing. We have some LGBT plus representation in this book, which I really liked and which I was very happy about. It was just all in all a really fun read, and it's a standalone as well, which makes it even easier to pick it up because you're not like, oh my god, I'm starting like a whole series. It's just something that you can pick up and have like really like a good time reading it. So highly recommend it. I really liked it. The next book is actually like a whole series that I like loved from the bottom of my heart, and that is the Rifter series by Jen Hale. This is a 10-part novella series where every book has like 120 pages or so. So this is kind of like a huge fantasy series in my opinion, where we have a gay main character who is called John, and he gets thrown into a completely different world because of a key that he finds, and that key opens like this kind of travel into a different kind of world. That world has a complete different society, a different religion, completely different opinions of how people's lives are valued, and a different language. The author did something really impressive with this, in my opinion, because she just built this whole new world with like its own society and everything. And that's why this whole series felt really huge and really like heavy, because there's so much in it, and it's a little bit confusing at times because we spring a little bit back and forth in between times and in between worlds, and that was really confusing at first, to be honest, where I was like, where are we now? Who are these characters again? Because we have a large cast of characters as well, and sometimes I'm like, who was this again? So I would recommend reading this in like a month or something, so you are really into the whole story and you know who is who and who did what, because it helps a little bit because it's like such a large series. I loved this so very much. I did not expect to like it that hardcore. I just finished like the last two books in like December, and I was so blown away by it because the writing is amazing. The characters are so interesting. The main character is so overpowered and so freaking strong, but he still is like this calm and collected character that tries to do the best that he can, and his romantic partner is so strong and so interesting as well, and I just loved everything about this. I can highly recommend it to you if you want like a big fantasy series with a gay main character where you get really sucked into the whole story and the whole plot, and where you just cannot stop reading it, because that's how I felt about this. So really amazing. The whole Rifter series, highly recommend it. It was incredible. The next one was a surprise read as well, and that is Crywolf by Patricia Briggs. And in this one we have Anna and Charles, who are werewolves, and they find out at the beginning of the series that they're mates. And like we kind of follow them, how they investigate like supernatural things. I just call it like they're supernatural investigators, because in the first book, like in Crywolf, they have to investigate something that is connected to a dark witch, and they have to find out what really happens, and this is just what I'm gonna say because I don't want to take too much away from the plot. We have a lot of romance in this as well, which is really interesting because normally I say I don't like romance, but I come to realize that it's actually now a lie because I kind of like romance now. Like, it depends what kind of romance, but this one I really liked because they have like this really intense love that's a little bit obsessive and a little bit chaotic at times, but I kind of like that. I kind of like if the romance is a little bit weird and where you're like, is this really like right? I like that because it's not boring, it's something else, it's something different. I like the characters as well, like who Anna and Charles are. They're so complex and kind of weird that you kind of want to know more and more about the characters. So if you like paranormal romances, if you like stuff with werewolves and how they investigate weird supernatural things, I think this series is really for you because this has everything that you need if you like that. This next book I actually expected to really like, and that is Recursion by Blake Crouch. This was an instant buy because I love Dark Matter by him. I read Dark Matter in like such a short amount of time, and this one as well I read in I think 3 days or something, because this is a science fiction thriller. So we have a man who is a police officer and a woman who is a scientist. So the scientist invented a machine that lets people go back into memories and start from there again. It's really hard to explain, in my opinion, because they go back into memories of people and then the lives of these people start again at that memory that they went back to. So they kind of can relive that memory again and again, and like from that timeline on. And this is kind of what this is all about, and I don't want to say too much about it because, like I said, it's a thriller. It will take everything from the plot if I say too much about it. But this was incredible. I could not put this down, just like Dark Matter. It's super fast paced. Like, there's like twists and turns everywhere. There's like bad things happening everywhere. It's absolutely amazing. I could not stop reading this. So if you liked Dark Matter, I'm pretty sure you will like this as well. It has some similarities in my opinion, but still, if you like that, I'm pretty sure you will love this as well. The next one that I really liked was A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Camera, and this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, which I truly adore. Like, Beauty and the Beast is one of my favorite like Disney story. This was so lovely. I really loved this. The writing was very engaging. It was fast-paced, which is always important to me. I need fast-paced books to just stick with it in general. The main character was super interesting. She is very tough. She says what's on her mind and she doesn't take no for an answer and just tries to do right by what she believes in. The Beast is very broody and very angsty, but I really like that, to be honest. It's a very different take on Beauty and the Beast, in my opinion, because we have a girl who actually lives in like modern time USA, and she gets thrown into the world of where the Beast lives, and she has to adjust to these kind of medieval surroundings, and I love that. There's another character in this that I forgot the name of. He's kind of like the personal soldier of the Beast. He's so cool. Like, I cannot wait to read the second volume of this that just came out. Like, oh my god, I'm so hyped for the second one. And I love this a lot, and I can highly recommend it if you like Beauty and the Beast retellings and a romance that is really on the angsty side. Also, there's some LGBT plus representation in this one, and the main character is disabled, so there's a lot of representation in this, which I really appreciated, and it's another thing that I really liked about this one. For the next one, I was really hoping that I would like it, and it was an instant buy, and that is Call Down the Hawke by Maggie Stiefvater, and I'm so glad that I liked this as much as I did, because I was so anxious about this because I love the Raven Cycle series by her so very much. It's very dear to my heart, the whole series and all the characters. So I was really hoping that I would like this as well, and I did. I truly loved it. So this is kind of the continuation of the Raven Cycle series by Maggie Stiefvater, and we follow Ronan Lynch, who is our main character and who is a dreamer. And a dreamer is someone who can bring objects back from his dreams. In this book, we also follow one of his brothers and another person who is also a dreamer, and a group of people who kind of want to save the world, but at a high cost. The writing in this is absolutely gorgeous. Maggie Stiefvater has a way with words that just leaves me speechless sometimes. It's so magical and so melancholic, and I just adore her writing so very much. So this had more angst in it and more drama in it than I thought it would have, and I was not expecting that, but it's still a good thing because it kept me really engaged. It was really, really exciting to read, to be honest. The only thing where I was a little bit sad about is that we don't see a lot of Adam, who is Ronan's boyfriend. I was hoping to see more of that character because I adore him a lot, but there's still 2 more books coming, so I hope we will see more of Adam. But I adored this nonetheless, especially since Ronan is the main character and he's my absolute favorite character in the whole series. So yeah, I love this. I cannot wait until the second book will come out. The next one I have is also actually a whole series that I really adored, and that is The Cruel Prince and The Wicked King and The Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. So the whole Folk of Air series, I think that's what it's called. I'm always saying The Cruel Prince series, but anyhow. So in this we follow Jude, who is a human girl, and at the beginning of the book her parents are murdered and she and her 2 sisters are kidnapped and brought into the world of the fairy. In the fairy world they really have to struggle with being mortal girls because everyone else is fairy and they're all tricksters and they all are so nasty to these human girls, especially to Jude. One of her other sisters is actually a fairy girl, and the other sister is kind of trying to keep her head low and not offend anyone, but Jude is not like that. Jude is the only one who really wants power over the other fairies. She really wants to trick them and be better than them, and that's what we follow in this. We also have Carden, who is a fairy prince in this. So they have this really weird relationship where they kind of bully each other and they just hate each other so much at the beginning of this. But this is an enemy to lovers romance, and I adored this so very much. Oh my god, like I cannot tell you how much I adored this whole series. I was so surprised by that because I don't normally read a lot of enemies to lovers romances. The whole series has a feeling of a dark fairy tale. It's very enchanted and very weird, and I love this so very much. I loved how Jude was written. She was so intelligent, she's so tough. She tries so much to become better than she is and always learns something new, but still she has her flaws because she tries to be very emotionless and tries to even trick people that are dear to her. And it's so interesting because Jude is probably one of my favorite characters I've ever read about. I also love Carden. He is so misunderstood and so cruel at times, and I love that. I love dark characters so much. It's one of my favorite things to read about, like, ever. So this whole series, I adore this. This is one of my favorite series I've ever read, and now I will stop talking about it. If you like dark fairy tales and enemies to lovers, you should try this. And the last book that I have here that I really, really liked is Soulless by Gail Carriger, if I pronounced that right. And in this one we follow a woman called Miss Tarabotti. So in this world we have a lot of supernatural beings that are all known to the people. So we have werewolves and we have vampires, and they're known by the society. But Miss Tarabotti is someone who doesn't have a soul. So she's very pragmatic and she's very serious a lot of times. And she kind of gets thrown into this weird conspiracy of a secret society that want to wipe out all the supernatural beings. This is mainly what we follow. We have Miss Tarabotti trying to find out what really happens, and we have Connell, who is the werewolf investigator at her side, basically. This was so very nice. Oh my god, I was so surprised by this because this shows a woman in a time where smart and strong-willed women are really, really disregarded, just not treated very well. And Miss Tarabotti is like, so smart. She is so interested in like science and everything. She's not only treated badly because of her intelligence, but also because she's half Italian. So she has Italian looks. That's what they say in the book. And because of that, she's treated very, very badly. And it picked up on so many interesting things, like her struggle with being half Italian, being a smart and intelligent woman who has a strong heart and a strong mind in a society that just don't like women like that. And we have a romance that is super healthy and super sweet. The action in this was wonderful. It was super interesting because it has a lot of steampunk elements as well. I adored this. The writing was wonderful. So if you like paranormal romances with a steampunk element to it, with a smart and witty main character, I think you will adore this first book. It's so wonderful. I love this two pieces. So yeah, I think this is all I can say about the books that I really truly loved in 2019. So let me know if you read any of these books as well and what you thought about them. I would love to talk about them. Yeah, I hope you're all doing great when you're watching this, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!